publishing arm.
Yep. So they publish Candela Obscura and Daggerheart and whatever else they'll put out in the future.
There we go. Alrighty, then, hello everyone, I'm AD Spinger, also known as Corbinian. This is the Electric Metropolis video game tour, and today we'll do another episode of Fabula Ultima, the castle that would pierce the horizon. Start with our opening poem. O gather ye round, O gather ye near, and listen to ruin, to shadow, to fear. For dark was night when Morwenna came by, and dim grew stars in wheel of sky. She came on the wind, she came cloaked in storm, her hands bore no weapons, her words seemed warm. Yet eyes like the deep where no starlight goes, spoke of a hunger the wise would oppose. The wing of bolts she did trick with a smile. She loosed their great engines, she tangled their guile. The wing of winds with its tower so high, she stole from their clouds, made storm spirits cry. But worst of all, where the wing of jewels lay, where memory glistened like dawn's first ray, where the prism core sang of the world's old heart, there did Morwenna tear it apart. She pried the crown of memory free, she drank of its secrets, she shattered its key. With fingers of shadow she scrawled on the glass, a sigil of unmaking, so none may surpass. Oh, mark it well, for it lingers still, a scar on the dreamscape, a curse, a chill, a dark line burning where ley lines once met, a brand of betrayal, a wound of regret. Now sandglass razors dance in the breeze, and echoes of laughter ride on the seas of what was once Radabar's gold, plundered and broken and bitterly sold. So heroes, oh heroes, take heed of this song. The road against darkness is weary and long, but lest Morwenna's shadow should swallow the sun, let blades be sharpened, let quests be begun. We return back to a little bit of ruin. It was once a great civilization unto itself, a civilization within a civilization. And a great many secrets were pried from the magical spheres that you struggle to understand, but have done your best to absorb. They're all huddled around the interface. It's stacks upon stacks of data slates. The floor glittering in marble and garnet.
So, nowhere to go but forward, huh?
It would seem so.
Means whatever the heck is behind that door. Well, there's nothing really much else we can get out of that archive. Unless there's any other burning questions you guys have.
We do, because I think we got to the point where we had answered all our questions and we're about to continue onward.
Apologies, I'm going to have to bow out for the night.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Everyone have a wonderful evening, but I simply do not feel well suddenly. I have to
Uh-oh.
go lay down.
Feel better.
Oh, I'm not gonna die or anything. I just don't feel good. I'll catch you guys next time. So sorry.
Yeah, take care.
She'll
Thank
continue
you.
browsing the net. I'll give you a minute to calibrate to your GM. There's a little crystal in the corner of the display that keeps giving us interesting tips. At least I think they're interesting. I can't quite read at that speed.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, right there. And with those little googly eyes, it looks kind of cute.
Aether will stay connected into the system, basically helping, keep directing the systems. That way the security systems of the place will go easy on you. This will also constitute I'll give a +2 to checks regarding dealing with the facility, because you have someone who's constantly talking to the machine and trying to help you through it.
Cool.
Ooh. Okay. Yes.
That's
Yes.
neat.
Nice.
So yeah, I say onward.
All right, let's open the door to the next room and head onwards.
Hmm.
No idea what we'll find in there.
Mm.
You assemble before the portal, gleaming and swirling, this archway that looks like a fabric between worlds, just shimmering in front of you. Do you step through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into the darkness you go, and all your characters die. Roll new ones.
Yep.
Rocks fall.
Yay.
And as you pass through, you feel a heat, a buzz, and weight that surrounds you, as if you're moving through so much pudding, and every step feels slowed. And then suddenly you see it all seems to snap and give way, and you get flung, or it seems as if you are flung, across a great
Yeah.
space.
I'm gonna try to reach out and hold everyone's hands so we don't get separated.
Should I be seeing something right now? Because all I see is like.
The
There
void.
Now I can see.
So impatient players these days.
Sorry.
Droney, no.
Droney, no.
Moving them in.
You then find yourself in this grand space. A shimmering floor, roiling with a red pulsing energy. Gold and brass plates covering the ground. You see buzzes of electric energy arcing between pillars along the back wall. And then a great prismatic sphere with many orbiting arms swirling around it. Various colors and visions appear and disappear, meld and mix, solidify to such alarming clarity, and then washed away like a dream. Various minor treasures and pots dot the back wall. Some sort of control panel. And another one over there. And then what looks to be the inside of a giant vault door in the back. And you can see that where there's been this garnet path that you've been following. When it is with this field's kind of hovering above it by about maybe not even a quarter foot off the ground. And then you see it's searing and marking and transforming the ground until it turns into this electrified, scarred and scored material. Like it's been with various... It's hard, it almost appears as if there is a grand mural of history etched into the floor.
I am not gonna step into that area. I'm gonna stay on the Crimson area. I learned my lesson last time.
Well, that floor looks like that one classic game, The Floor is Lava. I've heard it's popular in Choreo. And, well... Alright, Droney, fly, my creature. Fly, my pretty. Inspect it for me.
It's scanning the floor. I presume.
Yep.
Insight's part of it.
$11.
It would seem to be a Magitech version of a detection field that also keeps away, also repels minor spirits and elementals away from the other side of the room. Though it will likely detect anything else that passes through it. And the way it repels things that it feels are hostile or not supposed to be here, spirits will just simply avoid it. And elementals, they'll avoid the danger. This thing does damage in the form of fire and radiant. Fire and light.
Okay. Thank you, Droney.
There does seem to be some other purpose, but without a larger context, it's hard to grasp what the other purpose is. Although you get the feeling that what you discovered is kind of a side benefit. That's not its primary reason.
What's its primary, or what's its side benefit?
It burns you.
Oh.
Okay, well, don't step on the glowing floor. The floor is in fact lava. It will burn you. It's connected to something, but I don't know what exactly. Oh, look at the floor. It's so shiny. She's gonna step off the path just a little bit.
The floor feels oddly warm.
Oh, it's heated.
You can smell that smell of like ozone in the air.
I was gonna say, is it like an ozone smell?
Yeah.
I mean, the smell isn't nice, but man, the heat is nice. Oh, if we weren't in the middle of exploring this thing and on a time limit to the end of the world, I'd just lie down here. Feel like a hot plate for my back.
I don't think we have the time.
I know. Either of you see anything?
Lucius will look about at this astrolabe looking thing in the back.
Mm-hmm. You gaze upon it.
Gonna look at this.
You spy a pillar reaching from the floor all the way to the high vaulted ceiling. And as you look up, you can see a grand glass enclosure. A glittering, grand stained glass work. Depicting a sky full of jewels and gems that are not mere decorations in the crystal sky, but seem to artistically and stylistically depict airships, floating cities, and elementals. A city above a city.
Ooh.
Neat.
Believe someone stared into the sphere.
Yes, I did.
Will is part of it.
I was literally about to say, let me guess, willpower is part of it. Cool. Cool. Man, cancel. Submit. Hey!
Oh, shoot. Doubles.
Nice.
You earn yourself an opportunity. I'll tell
Yes,
you
I do.
what you see.
Yeah,
You
I should get that first.
spy within the prismatic glass these various landscapes, cityscapes, oceanscapes, starscapes, one after another, and you keep your mind. You don't get you don't feel the pull to get closer. You are able to satisfy your curiosity from this distance. So you lose a bit of clarity. You don't get to see quite as sharply as you would like. But you can see if you think hard enough, you can kind of shift it. You can't control, you can't like say, I want to see Koryo. If you do that, it shows like the countryside near Koryo. It gives a large, almost zoomed out helicopter view of the, not just the city, but the surrounding area, the ocean glittering, the mountains in the distance, that sort of thing.
Yeah, they use the same CG that they use when like you're first arriving there, and they do the big bird's eye view of the place.
Yeah. And you see at the edges so many shards of sand glass. Like a storm from all directions closing in. And then your mind will wander to something else and it'll zoom away to some other place. And much the same, you'll see this swarm of movement. This invasion of opulence beyond opulence.
Emma?
Yes, I do have an opportunity on the board. Can I quickly see what are the clocks at? Namely, the world clock and uh, the clock for this region.
Ooh. Map we go. Great. He pressed X again. Friggin'.
Insert the other disc.
Yeah.
Insert
Go
the
back to
other
disc
disc.
1. The map's on disc 1? Look,
Well,
we
it's
didn't
got
know
to be
how
on one of the.
Yeah, they didn't optimize it very well for the console release. Works way
Yeah.
better on computer.
Yeah, well, the map is on both discs.
Yeah. So
The
yeah.
map should be on both discs.
So I mean, you'd think. So the regional clock of Oscara is at 6.
Out
The
of
world clock.
6 out of 12. Is that right?
Yep.
What is it? 6 out of 12. Okay.
Tyr and Sigith is looking at 4 of 12. The Golden Continent's 1 of
Okay.
12. The world clock is 3 of 5 by 4, so 20.
Okay. Do you guys want to move back the Sultanate clock too, or would we rather I spend that opportunity on something else? Like information or a clue or
I mean, information might work. Like, where is the Guardian construct for this place?
yeah,
That's what we remember
I
with
think
us.
yeah, I think considering the circumstances, I'm down for information. Spot a useful clue or detail.
You are quite assured, or you are sure, if nothing else, that the Dream Beast lurks within this sphere and has been somewhat
joy.
contained. And once upon a time within the sphere, the Crown of Memory once was, but has been removed, and that has caused an instability. But you think that that sphere may hold a means to counter the Crown of Memory.
Oh, I see. Lucius just gets this flash of inspiration.
And I ask you a question. What
Yes.
is one memory you would never want erased?
Oh, cool.
That's not ominous.
I think that actually might be a good thing. Or a bad thing. Who knows? A memory that I would never want erased. I would say right now, the memory of Lucius with his brother and his father in the ruins of the family home reconciling.
It occurs to you that if you were ever to gain ownership of the Crown of Memory,
Yes.
your family would never be in danger again.
Huh.
I mean, not just now, but for all time. Your legacy. Your dynasty.
See. He just sort of shakes his head. So, the Crown of Memory is no longer here.
Yeah, Morena must have taken it.
Indeed. he points to the sphere. Don't look too close. It's rather mesmerizing, the panopticon display. But essentially, I believe that is where the Crown of Memory used to reside, along with, what was it, the Dream Beast?
Yep.
Along with the Dream Beast, the Dream Beast still resides. The Crown does not, and its lack, has thrown off its balance, I believe.
More
That
Duncan?
thing's gonna get out.
More Duncan? I need an insight type of roll from you as you are finally pulling your gaze away from the mural above.
Okay.
Yay, yippee. Hey!
Not bad.
Up in the stained glass, you spy at the edges. You notice that the more at the top of the dome, it goes further and further back to what was once the history of this city, this civilization. And then as it goes further out, it actually seems to cast further and further forward in time. And at the very edge, along this corner here, if I can ping it, there we go. Like on that part of the corner, you can spy just barely a collection of figures, stylized and stained glass figures that you recognize as yourself and the party.
Huh. Sorry, I will point it out.
And in that depiction, perhaps you may not point this out, but we'll see once I tell you. I was waiting for the cough to go away. There is, you see about the head of Lucius, a dagger bloodied, and a laurel stained.
Huh.
About in the hands of Zevin are a set of train keys. You've seen her use them to turn on or turn off the train, or takes them out when she doesn't want anyone to be able to get at the controls. They look dirt stained, as if recently pulled out from somewhere buried, and a wicked grin upon her face, as her hands seem to be dirtied as well. You see what you think is a depiction of Aether, but it seems to be far more Darklander, in the sense that it looks more shades of gray and black, red eyes, and a red discoloration around the mouth. You see the Dark Knight Alexander smashing through what appears to be some sort of market with their sword. And you see yourself holding the alchemist bag of your rival, sneaking away from his workshop. And you're pretty sure you never did that.
Yeah, no.
If anything, it's something he would have done.
I wonder how much money I'd get if I could sell this whole floor. Right now, no, back on task.
Well, Seven, I'll admit, something like this is a bit beyond me. If you can take a look at this strange sphere, um, and resist its call, it's rather tempting to look and try to find as many far-off places as you can. But with some work, you might be able to understand this imbalance better than I do.
You tell me to look, not to look at the sphere, then you tell me to look at the sphere. Ah,
Care.
sometimes
Look
I
with
just.
care.
Oh, fine, fine. And she'll, like, lower her goggles, just in case that'll help. It probably won't. Maybe this is just superstition. She's going to look at the dome. The orb.
You are staring upon a dome. There are no images being depicted. Oh, wait, a dome? Sorry. Are you looking
Or-
up at the dome or forward at the sphere?
At the sphere, sorry.
Staring upon the sphere, you see a swirl. You see a sphere, and inside it are various shards of sand glass glittering with power, swirling around. You surmise, without a roll, because of you're an Askaran and your background suggests you would be familiar with Magitech, especially as a tinkerer, a alchemist of the region. This is a massive magisphere.
One of the biggest she's ever seen, I assume.
You spied big ones this size back in the first room when you first entered this place. But this one seems to be very focused on containment.
Well, it seems to be a whole magisphere. But it's meant to keep something more complex in than just elemental magic.
Hmm.
And I need to get closer to learn anything else but the floor.
Yeah, because magispheres generally require proximity to interact with. Well, the fact
I
it's
guess
reacting to you at this distance shows its sensors are incredibly sensitive. Most magispheres you need to be touching or at least be like within 5 feet of you. This thing is feeling you from across the room.
Well, I'd said Droney, but Droney isn't really fine-tuned enough, so we need to get over, or the floor doesn't go all the way to the wall. Is it possible that I could shimmy around the left side of the map?
You could try.
I certainly will try.
Floor gets warmer and warmer and warmer. Warmer, very warm. You could feel it. You're the bottoms of your feet. Your feet are starting to sweat in their boots. That's how warm it is.
Ugh.
Yuck. Alright, I'm
Uncomfy.
gonna.
Dex is part of it.
Dex is part of it.
Because this jar here is something you have to maneuver around in that gap, and you might get a little too close to that field. You're like here, and you could feel an intense. You actually feel the back of your neck start to burn as if you're feeling a sunburn. You feel sweat going down your back, your legs getting sweaty. It's just like it's like intense heat just blare. It's like you're walking right by a massive furnace. It's just all the heat focusing on your back, and it's very uncomfortable. You get the feeling if you screwed this up, this would have hurt a lot. But hey, you got on the other side. Because you don't linger there, because it's really warm. You probably don't want to hang out there for very long.
Oh, maybe I should have gotten you to do this, Lucius.
You see...
Well, you're the one who needs to look at it.
Yeah, but
You see
You said you wanted to learn.
an utter treasure trove of magical items, artifacts, and zenith, more than you've ever seen in one place in your entire life. You think, actually, I correct myself. If your character's ever been to a museum in your country, you may have seen them behind high security glass.
I don't think she's ever been to a museum.
Well, a brochure then. You know what I mean.
Yeah. She's heard of places like this, but she's never seen all this stuff in person.
Especially
And-
just laying out there on a counter.
Oh, I touch it. Oh, you want to touch it? I can't. Okay.
I'll give you willpower as part of it.
Oh no.
I'm gonna look at the energy arcs a little bit more closely while
Oh.
Seven's doing that.
Hey.
Insight's part of
Good
it
girl.
more. I will faithfully tell you that Seven is able to cross that area without feeling the compulsion to go reaching out and digging through it, because yeah, there's a lot of really neat stuff that your character probably would want to interact with, but she's forcing herself to focus on the job at hand.
Interact with, you mean see how much she could shove into her inventory.
Yeah, pretty much.
I will also say, while all of this is going on, Lucius is just like, he's just keeping an eye on everyone right now.
That is fair.
More.
That mouse has been acting up funny. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. More, you sense that those energy arcs are pulsing into the runic wall covering here, and it's
Okay.
almost like these are massive charge batteries of light. Like that looks like bolt energy, but you in fact are able to discern that's actually radiant and fire energy zipping between magispheres. And it's basically acting like a massive array of batteries that are powering this room and all the things in it. You get the feeling if you touched it, it would really hurt. There's probably there must be some sort of control panel or some sort of alchemist bench that would allow you to manipulate these things. Because if you were to do some sort of alchemy involving a massive amount of bolts or radiant energy or any magical energy, you probably want to be on the other side of the room when you do it.
Yeah.
And nosy Roman Coriostellum person. Insight is part of it.
Is this an open roll?
Yeah.
Okay. I get a +3 bonus. That's 12.
You have this distinct feeling you're being observed from somewhere.
Okay.
Something not quite visible is watching the movements of everyone in the room.
Okay. To that end, it's I gotta nope, not quite high enough. Okay, cool. I mean, not cool, but something is observing us.
Yep.
Looking around the room, do I see anything that, I as a player would recognize as a camera, but to Lucius's mind would be, oh, that looks like a viewing port.
If you get the sense that you're being watched from the walls, as if the walls were eyes.
I know exactly what I'm gonna say. As Lucius looks over to Seven and said, in Coriostellum, we used to say that the Sultanate walls had eyes. I used to think it was an exaggeration. Now I'm not so sure.
And Seven, as you approach the sphere, you see a glaring eye staring at you.
Oh, must be the security node.
As you notice that there seems to be what appears to be a facsimile of an iris in the prismatic sphere that it's like its eye rolls and looks straight on at you. With your goggles down, you can still see the swirling of sandglass inside. Like a snow globe from hell.
With an eyeball.
From hell.
Well, it is currently looking at me and not you, so I gotta like shimmy over to the right.
It follows you. I can't make this graphic follow you, but you know it will. That eye
We can picture it in our mind's eye.
Silly joke.
You, as you shimmy this way, the door's appearance is a lot more plain to you. And you see upon its face a variety of figures in robes, in what appear to be Magitech Arcanus robes, who are working feverishly on something that looks like a sphere or orb.
This orb?
That would be reasonable. And they seem to fail, and then the orb kind of flashes, quote unquote, in the door. It just turns a lighter color, so it's hard to see from across the room. But standing next to it, it's hard not to see it. It flashes, and then the little figures representing the Arcanus all vanish at the same time, and the orbs. Then an eye appears on the orb, and then it resets and goes back to showing the attempt to contain it, and it just loops like that over and over.
Hey, what if the orb eats people?
If it what?
Just a question, hypothetically.
That doesn't sound good. Do you think it does?
There's a funny little graphic here.
A funny little graphic.
Yeah, like this little moving image.
And what does the graphic depict?
A bunch of alchemists trying to contain something within the orb and then vanishing.
Oh, that's not good.
Yep. So I'd ask it again. What if the orb eats people?
As Lucius considers that, does that make sense?
I don't know. You tell me. Given all this stuff you've learned so far.
I mean, I don't know if the orb itself eats people, but my best understanding, it's probably likely that the dream beast is pulling them in.
Like, you spiritually, philosophically, or
All of the above.
okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. So this thing's becoming unstable, and if it becomes unstable, I'd like to try to surmise what would potentially happen.
Insight's part of it. It's hard to say. You imagine if it goes unstable, nothing good would happen in the sense that imagine the consequences of a failed ritual. Failed rituals, whether they be high magic or natural magic, in any event, a failed ritual usually results in some sort of catastrophic failure. Sometimes it could be catastrophic in the sense that it undoes what you were trying to do. Other times it could be catastrophic, like a high pressure vessel being overpressurized and containment being lost, and all contents within left to expel from the container at high velocity.
Jeez.
Hey, so what if everything inside the orb was no longer inside the orb in a very sudden... You know what?
That would, I mean, you're the engineer and master of such scientific principles, but my guess would be that would be very bad and very destructive, if I had to take a wild guess.
Seven feels that she's used this interact option too many times. The talk with Lucius button has become grayed out.
You notice in the image there seems to be a series of emblems that are appearing, that are flashing a little bit around waist height. That's why your eyes were drawn to the thing at eye level, not what was lower down. And they're a lot fainter, but you've been standing here for a while. You see what appear to be faint glyphs lighting up as the pantomime continues. What appears to be a fractured star lights up as you see them waving their hands in what you would modernly call a spellcasting gesture, or a semantic component, the way to put it. Next, you see it looks like tiny motes of light are being pulled into the orb, and that's when you see a coiled serpent emblem light up. More and more and more pulled in, and then they all stop their hands and they're reaching out, and you can tell that's probably the middle stage of the ritual they're in the middle of, because there's the casting out of magic and then there's the actual performance of magic. And that's when you see what appears to be a crescent or waning moon emblem appear, which is a very familiar image in a lot of Oscaran magic writing. That's the universal symbol of you're in the middle of something. Usually it's magic oriented. You're in the middle of doing a thing. Some bars will have that as an emblem, as a joke, but it's not doesn't translate very well to people outside of Oscara, so you know. Then you see the sphere start blinking and flashing, and that's when a broken crown, like it looks like a crown that's been snapped in half, that lights up. And then you see them, when they all flash out of existence, that's when the chained eye lights up and it just stays lit for an extra second. And then it resets back to a fractured star and them waving their hands at it.
I smell a puzzle.
I do in fact smell a puzzle. Hey, slide along to this side. Is there anything I see that recognizes any of those symbols? Resembles any of those symbols? Here.
That looks to be an alchemist's control bench.
Oh. I'll point out that the pillars back here, the electrified ones, seem to be acting as a battery.
Can't be powering this whole place. Alright. Looking at this control panel, is there any way I could do to deactivate the funny glowing lava floor?
Insight's part of it.
Insight is indeed part of it. And the other part of it will also be insight. Oh yeah, you can see guys, I've used up all my good rolls.
You see the emblem for fire and the emblem for light, and they're both lit up. And there's a crescent moon that's between them, and you see little ley line looking lines kind of linking the three spheres. There's a bunch of other, imagine like a bunch of little typewriter looking keys. They're all like little circles dotted across this massive board, and they're all connected to various little magic spheres hidden in underneath the board. This is meant for very complex work, alchemist work, Magitech style alchemist work. So you'd have like a bunch of little samples of stuff all hidden within it. You'd usually use this to build something like a train or a massive airship or 100 potions instead of just like one or two. It's meant for massive or mass production. But this does look to be
just like by typing.
Yeah, you press down certain buttons and certain combinations, and that combines them together into the thing. And then once you've locked, there's a big button at the bottom where it locks in everything. And then, if you know what you're doing, it's basically like reaching into an alchemist bag and doing your alchemist tricks. Except it's a board. It has way more resources because your stuff comes in a satchel bag on your hip. This thing's as big as a workbench with a bunch of spheres inside.
It's coding.
But three of them are lit up. You see the moon, the waning moon emblem, and then you see a fire emblem and a light emblem connecting to the moon, and they're all three of them are lit up. You're not, you know, those are related, but you're not sure what the deactivation protocol is because you're not the alchemist that did this, so you're not sure what their method is because every alchemist is a little different.
Okay, I found the control for the weird force field, not force field, the Magitech barrier right there. The burning one. I'm not quite sure how to turn it off, but I could try to reprogram it. Elements aren't quite my thing.
Yeah, if you're an elementalist, I'd give this to you for free. I'll also know all the other elemental emblems are represented. So you see like one for physical, one for poison, one for dark, one for, So all of them are on there, along with various number symbols and letter symbols. Symbols for like castles and little colored pins in various colors, which those... I can tell you for free that the colored pins are more like placeholders. They're meant to mark a point in a sequence. So like sequence 1 green pin, sequence 2 blue pin, sequence 3 red pin, and so you didn't, instead of having to enter the sequence every time, you would just hit, once you programmed the pins, you'd hit the pins in the order you wanted them to go. Problem is you don't know what any of those pins are right now because they're not. Most alchemists don't bother marking them for other people to use because why make it easy for someone else to use your stuff?
4,000-year-old spaghetti code.
Yeah.
Oh, times 6 dead.
Fine. I mean, what? Sorry. His computer died.
Yikes.
Laptop, I suppose. Anyways.
YouTube.
Well, what happens if I tap the light one again?
You press it and it doesn't depress at all. It feels like you're feeling resistance pushing, keeping it from being pressed down. And you actually feel a tingle of heat at your fingertip.
What if I hit Earth?
Click. It depresses and stays depressed. It doesn't light up, it just sinks into the board.
Is there a submit key anywhere?
Is there what, sorry?
A submit key?
There's a lock-in key, yeah,
Execute.
that locks in all an execute key, yeah. Basically, imagine a massive spacebar looking thing.
Yes, I'll hit that.
Clack. You can hear the whole a massive contraption underneath the floor just roars to life.
Ooh, the machine might be broken.
Interesting.
Why do I hear boss music?
Whoops, wrong thing. The floor shakes. You can hear the battery behind you roaring with power and energy. You can hear the board clack, 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 and you hear the shaking and sparking of spheres interacting with each other. You can see that the Earth symbol is flashing repeatedly as the whole room seems to shake as if it's in the middle of an earthquake. I require both of you to give me might as part of it.
Okay. Oh shoot. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh crap. Oh, double crap. So what happens when we roll a critical fail? I haven't done one in so long.
Well, you get a Fabula, so there's that. So it's kind of good. Downside, you can't re-roll that.
I just
Yeah.
wanted a bridge. I just wanted to make a bridge.
As the floor roars up and massive stones rip out of the ground and begin floating like so many boulders and rocks and pebbles swirling in the air, that upheaval, you basically go through an earthquake. And Zevin, you've been in one or two of these before in your life. So you kind of were able to brace yourself just in time so you didn't go sprawling. Unfortunately, more Duncan, this is less common for you. And you just were not, you were more focused on the big floating spheres rather than keeping your feet, and you get baffed into the ground really hard.
Ow.
Taking 2,000 damage. No, taking... hold on, I have to check something. Taking 20 physical damage.
Ow.
As, bam! You get slammed into the ground.
I am in crisis.
Now the Earth symbol is lit up, and there's a little ley line looking thing connecting it to the moon, along with the light symbol and the fire symbol. As you see more picking herself off the ground, as practically probably
Sorry.
broke your nose on the way down.
Yeah.
On the way down, hits the ground. No, when you hit the ground, rather.
Ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I just wanted to see if I could put Earth in the middle and make a bridge.
Apparently
I have
not.
not done that.
I will say, probably nursing my bleeding nose.
And you notice, after the upheaval, Lucius has vanished.
Oh, that's not good.
Where did Lucius go?
Along with his entourage.
That's not good. Can I? Oh, I have no way of reaching Aether. I can contact Aether right now. Maybe I should invent some sort of like communication line that's portable and goes two ways.
Yeah.
That
Can you
might be
imagine how useful that would be?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. You haven't
Well,
heard from Aether at all while you're exploring. You were pretty sure that Aether had a pretty good hold on the system, would be able to talk to you. Would have you haven't gotten a bonus this entire time, which means Aether hasn't been talking to you. Because Aether, you don't have a two-way radio, as it were, but the facility has ways to communicate to people, and you haven't heard a word from Aether. And you know Aether's not exactly the quiet, mousy type. Except around new people, but you know.
I'm gonna go over here.
You see a variety of tools. Looks to be a massive vat full of what would presume alchemical fluids. There does seem to be a large lever here, and then next to it is another alchemical bench. That one seems to be. It just has the radiant emblem, or light emblem lit up. It's not connected to and it's connected to a moon, and then it's connected to the letter B, and then the number 0.
Oh. That might be the facility lights. I think I've had my fill of messing with things I don't understand. But what is it with cats and curiosity?
In theory, that's what kills him.
Yeah. So, well, this sphere is getting unstable-ish. It's not going to fail anytime soon, but eventually. Problems are so easier when I was newer to adventure, and I just broke stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, the more you travel, the more you realize that sometimes if you go around breaking stuff all the time, sometimes what you broke is useful.
Yeah. Do you have any advice? You're also a tinker. What do you think we should do?
Um, I'm gonna go around to. Well, why don't we see if we can.
Oh, how'd you get there?
Oh, I'm going around the.
I
This
need
way.
I need a dex check for you.
Oh no. One moment. Dex.
Yeah, you're able to go through rather quickly. Like you quickly sidestep, and you feel the intense oh god heat, and one of the boulders almost hits you in the head as it's swirling around in the field. But you're able to not linger too long. It is very whoop.
Nice.
But you're pretty sure you would have taken a massive amount of damage in the form of fire, light, and earth damage.
Yeah.
Instant defeat.
Can you turn the earth back off? like undo what you did to activate it?
Good try. Can I turn off the earth?
You see the Earth key is no longer depressed. It's now lit up, and you can see it. The lines over there. How do you propose to undo it?
Is there a clear button?
No. Usually there'd be like a lever or something that would be the clear mechanism for the whole board, but they didn't seem to install it in this.
I mean, there's a lever over here.
There is, yeah.
Like for this.
Yeah.
Does there any sort of like wiring or writing to imply that these two things are connected, or?
Proximity would suggest that it's likely because magic doesn't like traveling, doesn't like being cast at super long distances. Alchemical magic less so. It's probably connected to this panel. You would surmise it could be, if it's super powerful, be connected to this, but that'd be like a really powerful lever, alchemical machinery. Be easier to just make a lever next to it.
Bad news. There's no off lever.
Oh. That's cool.
Great job, precursors.
You're welcome. No.
I said there are funny runes on this drawer, and some of them are on this table too, because they've got meanings.
The ones on the table are a lot more familiar to you. They're basically the elemental symbols with a combination of letters and numbers, and then like sequence pins. This one's one that has its own unique emblems. And yet there's no dump button. Everyone should install a dump button. She's gonna check under the table. You see a closed set of cabinet doors.
Gonna open that.
You pull them open, and you see a intense glow of 3 magispheres. They're about as big as a little bigger than your fist. These big orbs that are hanging off of these collection of gold and silver pillars that are linking into the key membrane above. And you see each of the spheres are all connected to each of the keys. And then there's a larger orb in the center of the whole thing. And you see that magical energy is flickering from a brown magisphere orb, a bright white one, and a bright red one. And you can see they're all kind of beaming their energy into the larger sphere at the bottom. And that one seems to be combining and twisting and glittering. Imagine like white noise, except it's this sort of kaleidoscope of brown, white, and red. It doesn't seem to be full. It seems to be, I'd say about 1/4 of the way full. Like the capacitor can only hold so much at a time. You can see also a lot of little smaller magispheres, which you know they're not elementally linked. They're in your line of alchemy, those are like functional spheres. They're meant to. They don't do any great magic. They'll do like this magic connects to that magic sort of thing, or I want it to hurt all enemies, so you'd combine like a big sphere and then a bunch of tinier spheres to modify what the big sphere does. This is the same thing, but on a larger scale.
Holy spaghetti code.
Yeah. Is there any way to like I mean, this stuff is more your realm than mine, but is there any way to, I don't know, unplug it and plug things back in again?
Yeah.
I shrug.
Can I hard reset it?
How do you propose to do that?
Well, I find the base node that controls everything. I'm gonna remove it and put it back in.
That would be the key membrane that's connecting all the spheres together. You would need some sort of tools to get at it. You'd have to because you'd need to somehow remove it without damaging it. Like imagine a massive, like not a keyboard. Imagine something that's as big as a desk, a massive plate that everything's connected to.
So it's like a big circuit board.
Yeah, you'd have to unplug it away from all of the spheres at the same time, and then settle it back into place. Otherwise, you're just breaking it. You're just snapping it away from the Magispheres, which may result in a catastrophic failure if you screw that up. But it's possible. You could essentially do an alchemical ritual, quote unquote, and try to push it up and then lower it back down.
Okay, but if I did that, would it hurt the sphere? The major one, the big one?
You're not sure. Insight's part of it. Oh, God.
Careful.
Well, there's my good roll for the night.
Yeah. You're pretty sure this is dedicated to the field itself. The sphere seems to operate on some other system.
Okay.
Actually, with that high roll, you're pretty sure the door here is the mechanism that interacts with this Magisphere here. Although the Magisphere itself you can interact directly with the Magisphere. Mind you, that's like in computer science terms, that's like interacting with. It's like you can physically interact with the RAM chip rather than through the BIOS and the user interface.
Just poke that RAM stick with like a electrified hairpin.
Yeah. Just unplug it, put it back in again. It'll be fine, right? Not while it's powered, no. As long as nothing's accessing it, it's probably okay. Yeah, no, that board seems to be linked specifically with the field. Which makes sense, because a board like that causing a magical effect that big, yeah, you'd need a board dedicated to just that effect.
Well, while I'm fiddling with this, I'll chat with more. Did you see anything more interesting, or?
I'll point up at the mural above us and say, that thing's a bit disturbing looking. Not sure if it means anything. Specifically, I'll point out the part of it that shows like Lucius with the stained laurels and stuff.
Yeah, Lucius is the picture of Lucius is very interesting. I mean, I know that's me when I acquired my train.
You notice in the depiction, since you're seeing yourself, it seems to be implying that you robbed someone's grave to get the train keys.
I did.
You did? Oh.
It was an archaeological site. For all I knew.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Will is part of it.
Oh no. That's not good.
Willpower, willpower. Let's get both my bad saves.
You suffer 20 dark damage. As it...
As?
Huh?
Oh, gonna continue.
Yes. As you have a dark realization that somebody somewhere knows of your crime. And I imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, in Ascara, archaeological digs are fine. That's not quote unquote grave robbing in that sort of term. It's more of you're recovering things for the good of the Sultanate and stuff like that. This is implying that you robbed a current, like someone's actual grave, and someone very important. And it seems that's what you actually did. And that, I imagine, is not a crime you want to be well known and publicized. And there it is on stained glass for anyone to look up and figure out.
Evan considers throwing a rock at that section.
Huzzah.
Oh, hey, your computer's back.
Welcome back. Should we fill you on what you missed?
As you watch him pop back into existence.
In the words of Seven Demeril, technology.
What happened? I don't know. Did you hit a button over there or something? Vibius asks.
I didn't hit anything.
But not you, sir.
I hit a button, but I don't think it did whatever happened to you.
It did trigger an earthquake.
Yep. I've learned my lesson.
Have you, though?
For now, history repeats itself. Anyways, we're looking up at that.
But what are we looking at? What are we looking up at?
She points up at the dome above everyone's heads.
Lucius
And
looks
she
up.
You see the grand depiction I noted to more earlier, and they specifically are looking at the little figurines that imply that Moore did some thieving.
Which I did not.
Seven did some thieving, which she hasn't vocalized she actually did, but she darkly realized she committed a high crime. And you see a depiction of yourself with bloody laurels and a bloody knife, indicating that you are a kinslayer and on pursuit of tyranny.
Oh. I do not like that. Although you have to admit, they did get my jawline just right.
So, what do you think that means? Is this like, did any of you do anything funny in your past that you should confess right now, or is it a prediction of the future, or maybe it's just all of us at our worst moments, like potential?
Mine is not correct.
Nor is mine. I have not taken to killing my brother, much as I may have wished to have many times during my childhood.
Zevin, I require 2 willpower checks.
Uh-oh.
One for each person who told you that the thing up there is a lie. Because you know yours isn't.
And 11.
You can choose to believe them or not. I'll leave that to you. You're not compelled.
I think I would have known if Lucius killed someone in his family.
Hey, they don't know you robbed a grave.
I mean, mine's fake too, so I guess that they're all like, this could be you in your darkest hour.
Yeah.
What you do in the dark.
Fabula
A lot of
Ultima. What
things.
you do in the dark.
Do a lot of things in the dark, like stumble around looking for my slippers.
uh...
Well,
What
now
I
we've
meant.
determined that the whole mural is fake and all hypothetical. Lucius, maybe you should walk around the funny sphere. Sorry about the rocks. Um,
Agreed. As Lucius and Vibius and Umbrinius will do
Oh,
attempt to.
I'll note as well. Yeah, 'cause this is what happened after you vanished. After the upheaval, massive floating boulders and spinning rocks are now hovering over the field.
Yep. Eh, eh.
Dex is
trying
part
to
of
make a
it.
bridge, for the record.
Yep. Cool.
In my head, I would have made the coolest bridge ever, and you would have all walked across it and said, "Wow, Seven, you're so great."
Like now, I can't even put on my cool laurels and just walk across it.
Yep, you're able to. You feel the intense heat and the sunburn feeling, and then a few boulders nearly baff you in the head. But you're like, nope. As long as you do it
Yeah.
quick,
Well,
as long as you do it really quickly, it's okay. If you hang out there for a while, eventually one of those rocks will hit you by sheer chance.
Well, and I probably still feel like semi okay with the heat because I do have the
Yeah.
fire dragon scale thing.
So really, the only
So
one
I
you're
am
worried about
resistant.
is the boulder, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
But at the
radiant
very
fire
least,
don't
the heat
affect you.
doesn't feel too bad.
Yeah.
Well, it does affect me. I'm only resistant, but
Okay. Yeah.
but it doesn't feel like it's about to melt my face off.
Yeah. Face.
Which is important.
Oh.
Yes, it's my most treasured asset.
Beep boop.
I feel like we've had this conversation before.
Your little drone wiggles at you and beeps at you, indicating it's asking if you want it to stay where it is or if you want it to fly around to where you are. It's small enough that it can go around pretty easily.
You can fly back to me, my little buddy.
Beep boop, and just very quickly flies over to you.
Yeah. So I mean, Lucius, you've never like killed a guy before, right?
Heavens, no.
Not lately. I mean, there's monsters and. Oh.
I mean, we've destroyed some monsters here and there, but
Those bandits.
We didn't kill those guys.
Well, I mean, killed the reputation. That's death enough. Thanks, Umbrinius, for that cheerful bit of news. Maybe it just shakes his head like, geez, dude.
But no, that symbology there is likely meant to depict a murder committed in cold blood. A dishonorable one, hence the dagger.
Lucius, you don't seem like that kind of guy. I feel like you'd boast afterwards.
Viridius and Vibius give you a look there, Lucius, and it there's a look of
Like-
should we clarify what that actually means? And then they, seeing that you didn't, they won't. Because it's not just dishonorable; it's a far more heinous crime, which they won't even speak of because it's just so distasteful among Corius. Tell people it's okay to murder your
Yes.
rivals; it's not okay to murder your family.
Right.
Oops. Goodbye.
Will
Nick.
not. He will not speak of it in mixed company.
Yeah.
I think to Lucius, it is it's the kind of thing that if it was just him and Seven, or like just him and more, or if it was just him and one of the others, he'd explain it because he trusts them enough. But like,
You trust them individually, but not as a group. I understand.
yeah,
We're too rowdy when we get put together.
yeah. Well, it's more so if I have to explain it like to the whole group, it becomes a whole thing.
I'll have to clean that up later. That sucks. Oh well.
Anywho,
Oh no, my mysterious knife covered in tomato sauce.
Just
I see
cutting
what
a
you're doing,
pizza.
GM. I see what you're doing, GM. You can't hide from me.
For your information, it's rice.
Just cutting a pizza.
It's now tucked away behind my desk, which is a problem for later. My darkest moment right there. That's not true. Yeah.
Well, Lucius, to fill you in, this panel here controls the funny wall. This controls something else. This lever resets this over there, I think. But this one doesn't have a reset, so we're just kind of stuck with the floating rock wall instead of a cool bridge.
I
and
see.
the door controls the orb. The orb that is staring at me.
Right. Well, we're going to have to figure out what to do about this orb.
The unstable one that's missing its central part.
Quite. Perhaps, might you be able to fashion some sort of a stopgap measure? Maybe something that, while unable to replicate all the functionality of the crown, might be able to replicate its, stabilizing effect on this, device?
I can see what I can do. I'll take credit for this though. If it works. If it doesn't work, you can take credit for it.
He looks like he's about to say something again, and he thinks better of it.
Well, dearest Game Master, what would I need to put in the middle of this? Like Indiana Jones style.
Well, to replicate the crown of memory, you are an alchemist, a tinkerer. You could, in theory, fashion a stopgap measure of some kind. But it would be a project. Calculating its cost.
Hmm. Yeah, because it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to do everything the Crown of Memory can do, like with all like the other effects on like our reality. It just has to do the function of the crown within the context of this device.
Yeah. You'd need at least 8,000 zenit worth of parts. Which means it would take
Not without
80 progress to complete. Because it's one for every 100
without,
zenit cost.
without robbing the Alcazar Central Bank and
Now, if you introduce
conscripting a whole
flaw, a terrible flaw in it that makes it less, like it just barely does what you need it to do, and nothing else. It's something you'd have to come back to fix later. You could bring it down to like 6,000.
Yeah, it's still 60 work.
Yeah, that's still 60 progress.
That's probably
Weeks.
out of the scope of what we can. Yeah, that's out of the scope of what we can do here and now.
Well, that means there's only one solution, which is getting that crown of memory and bringing it back. ASAP.
Indeed.
Truly.
Looking upon this thing, does Lucius? So I get the feeling that this thing is watching us.
Mm-hmm.
Does Lucius get the feeling that it's expecting something from us?
Insight's part of it.
Cool. Is this an open roll?
Yeah.
I'll take the +3 bonus. Please and thank. That's 14.
14, you say?
And additionally, because that hits my threshold, I get 2 free questions on top of whatever else you're about to give me.
Okay, so the thing within that's watching you, you've identified
Yes.
is in fact the dream beast of the prism.
Yeah, I figured as much.
And nope, I clicked the wrong thing again. Still the wrong thing. Wait, did I close the thing I needed? I did. That's irritating. I need to reload my Fabula Ultima PDF, so bear with me a second.
Yep.
Yeah, you see
The orb is buffering.
Yeah, you see within the orb the various landscapes and spacescapes and stuff. The only one who's only seeing the swirl of sandglass is the person with their goggles down, because the goggles are actually protecting you from the illusions. Because they're goggles used by archaeologists who dig around and look at stuff, because sometimes illusions come up. Not that your character probably knew that precisely, that's what they do, but it's a way to see through. If you're interacting with stuff like this, you can... Some illusions you might be able to ignore, because it's... if it's minor enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like low-level illusions.
Like if it's
You
more...
just thought they were funny, good...
Go ahead, sorry.
You just thought they were good welding goggles?
Hey, they are.
Well, they are that too. Okay.
Yeah, I have to see how much you learn about them. I just need the book in front of me so I can actually...
Right. Yes.
I know precisely what I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's everything, but I want to make sure, because you got a really high result, so I think it's everything. But I want to make... There are some things you don't... there are some things you don't learn even from a roll, but I think...
Yeah, although there might be a couple things I don't get, because I did get a really high roll. I didn't get the highest roll.
The highest roll is 13 plus for study.
Oh, is?
Yep.
Okay.
It used to be 10 to 16, but they lowered it in the errata.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, try that again. Oh, without closing the PDF. Oops, right there. Oh. So, firstly, this thing is a level 46 construct with 488 HP.
Okay.
And 244 as its crisis. 76 mana. It has...
How much?
76.
Okay.
It has the traits Memory Consumer, Blind Beauty, Opulent, and Guardian.
Okay.
Its attributes are D6 Might, D8 Insight, D6 Willpower, D12 Dexterity. Its defense, physical defense is 13, magic defense is 10. It is immune to poison, resistant to earth, immune to the poison condition, resistant to physical damage, vulnerable to light.
Okay.
It has a basic attack of a memory shard storm. So basically all those little sandglass that makes up its body, it can fling out at people, and as an insight willpower roll +4. And it does high roll +5 in dark damage.
Ooh,
Um,
gnarly.
It has no spells.
Okay, good to know.
And that is all you learn.
That's really good to know, because if it comes to blows, I now know not to try and block its spells, because it has none. Okay, and I get 2 free questions about this thing. So to my actual question, do I get the impression that it is expecting something from us?
I'll get that question back to you. I believe the traits answered your question.
Can you run those traits by me again?
Memory consumer, blind beauty,
Oh,
opulent, and guardian.
okay. Hmm.
Still have your 2 free questions because the traits answered that
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. Um, do I get the feeling that the thing it's guarding is now gone?
One of the things it's if the thing it was guarding was gone, then its purpose would fall away. It's still guarding something
Okay. Um,
or multiple somethings.
okay. So there's something else in there.
Because a construct that
Um,
had nothing to guard would lose it part of its purpose and would
lose its purpose, yeah.
it would either shut down or go rogue. Generally,
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
this looks active still.
Uh, just gonna pose it to you guys. Do you guys have any thoughts for questions? Because I do have one more question.
I think either what other things are starting, or how long do we have until the thing risks a failure?
That second one would be is really good. Um,
I
yeah,
agree.
like do I get the feeling like this thing is about to lash out in any way?
Uh, once the clock fills for this region, this is part of the disaster. This thing, not only will the thing you fear wake from deep within, but this thing will shatter, and that will exasperate the problem. This is part of the Oscar
Problem
and
in this.
Armageddon. Um, it's one part of that problem if it goes off, because it would cause devastation. Because this thing wouldn't be this thing's traits would change. Instead of being a guardian, it would probably turn to some dark purpose like hunter or seeker or something like
Yeah.
that. And now you have a powerful precursor, Radabaran, dream beast,
Right.
chasing people down and sucking their memories. So it's not
Mm,
immediate, but in time, this thing will
be a
shatter.
problem.
It's lost it's losing containment just very slowly.
I mean, how many things has Morvenna stolen? Probably a lot.
Yes. Well, Seven, by my understanding, this thing is rapidly losing its containment, and based on the way it's fluctuating, I get the impression that should whatever Morwenna is planning come to pass, not only will Morwenna's central scheme come to fruition, but this thing's containment will shatter and become a problem all its own.
Cool. Um, maybe we should go back to the train and get going before the end of the world happens.
Well, right, although I will note, it does seem to be guarding something else.
Huh?
Also, if we like, if the end of the world happens, will being on the train really help that much? Sorry
Lore
to
has a
get
point.
grim there.
meant more to go after Morwenna.
Oh, gotcha. I understand now.
Actually, one more thing we should probably try to find out before we leave. If we can deactivate the Crown of Memory to take away an advantage she has.
Hmm.
We can't break it, or else this thing goes rogue.
Right. Well, unfortunately, Seven, my expertise only extends to the broad strokes. You're the one who actually understands the workings of these things.
Yeah, you just seemed like a savant in that moment, Mr. Know-It-All.
Well, thank
Alright.
you very much. I do, in fact, know it all.
Okay, now you can fall into that funny little force field panel right there. I'm gonna figure out what I need to do to.
Yeah, Lucius will look over the panel that Seven is talking about.
Over here.
Yep.
Yeah, you see the panel with various elemental symbols on it that you're familiar with, like, fire, earth, and so on.
Yeah.
There's the various letters and numbers, the various jewel pin sequence holders. There's, of course, the execute spacebar, if you will. Currently, the light key, the fire key, and the earth key are all lit up, and have blue lines linking them together with a waning moon emblem.
Okay. Oh. Do I get the impression that by these things being connected to the waning moon, do I get the impression that it is draining power from the containment?
Hard to say from looking at the keypad.
Right.
Seven gestures underneath the cabinet and takes a look in there.
Oh yes, you didn't see this part. The cabinet below,
Yeah.
there's basically a bunch of magispheres, each linked up with the various elements, and they're all connected by these silver gold pillars, if you will. That are holding them up into a large panel. Think less a keyboard membrane and like something the size of like a desktop.
Uh-huh.
And you can see like there's tinier little spheres, which Zevin may inform you are more function spheres. In Magisphere tech, there's the big ones, all the elemental ones like fire or whatever, those do their things. But if you're doing alchemy or tinkering, you need to add little function orbs on it to do different things like attack all enemies or attack everybody or attack one person, so there's like those little keys, and so all these are connected to various buttons up top. The only one that's not really connected to anything in particular is one massive orb that seems to be that's clear, but within it, at present, you notice that all the little spheres, there's like there's a brown magisphere, a bright red sphere, and a white sphere that are all beaming tiny bits of magical energy into the large central one. And in that, you can see there's like think white noise, but it's brown, white, and red fuzzing, and it looks to be about 1/4 full.
Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, the question then is either if we need to fill this thing up with all the different elemental magispheres, or if we need to empty it. Looking under this thing, does it look like it's been tampered with recently?
I wouldn't say so.
And okay.
Which is good.
What if how
Yeah.
Morena got it out of there?
Likely with her magic.
Hmm. Right, the thing I can't do.
Seven says as she stands next to a vault door.
Yeah, do I what would happen if I were to activate all of these I'm just trying to figure out how to work this thing.
Well, hypothetically, you hit the elements you want to bring into being, and then you hit the bar there to execute. But there's no right now. I haven't found any sort of uh, clear or eject or.
Hmm. Lucius uh looks over to Seven and then past Seven at the giant vault door. What does the vault door look like?
It has the repeating looping image on it. The door seems to be made of some sort of brass and gold material. Think an iron door, but it's different coloration. You can see various emblems lighting up on it in sequence.
Yeah, there's some special glyphs on that. If you stare at it long enough.
I'll watch it for a bit.
So the door, to remind people, pull up the door puzzle. Went the wrong way. I need to be over here. Aha. There it is. So, you see little figures of what appear to be Magitech-looking arcanists who are in the middle of a ritual, and you see that they're motioning toward what looks to be like an orb or some sort of sphere. And then as they wiggle their hands, it makes semantic gestures at it. At about waist height, one of the emblems at the light up, and the one that lights up at this point is a fractured star. As they start pulling in little motes of energy further and further in, you notice a coiled serpent lights up. And then their hands still as they're making a sort of containing ritual gesture, and you notice that the little orb is flashing a little bit, and you see the waning moon emblem light up. And then they sweep their hands down, and you see the orb sort of start glowing steady for a bit, and a broken crown. I think a crown that's like snapped in the middle in half, lights up, and then the thing flashes faster and faster, brighter and brighter. Well, relative to the surface, it's just a cut. For the purpose of the door, it's changing color. It's a lighter shade rather than a darker shade. It's something you could only really notice if you're up close to the door as opposed to far away. When that starts flashing, all the little figurines showing of the ritualists vanish, and that's when a chained eye lights up, and that light stays on for like an extra beat or two longer than the others. Then it resets back to a fractured star, and then the whole thing starts again.
Yep. That's the thing. Well, listen, I work with my hands. I work with like mining equipment. But I am a tinker. Can I start poking things?
What are you poking?
The little glyphs on the vault door.
Okay.
One of the spellcasters.
You touch the figure, and you can actually feel it moving underneath your finger. Like it's actually moving bits of metal on the door. Like think like one of those Swiss clock mechanisms with the little figurines moving around. It's kind of like that, but 2-dimensional.
I'm thinking kind of like those little magnet boards where you press your hand into it and it embosses the other side. Like that.
Sorta, yeah.
Never seen any technology like this. So did we lose Temsic? We did lose Temsic again.
Oh no.
Temsic, buddy, what are you doing to your computer?
In-gamely, Temsic starts muttering to himself and seems very enraptured in trying to figure out how that board works. Because for a Core Stella person, and as a person who isn't a tinkerer, this is all alien stuff to him. So it's a lot of, but he's a lore master, so he's slowly trying to figure it out. Random reference to a Shakespearean play, you know.
Hey, more. So the door, I think, controls the sphere. Hmm. Poking things doesn't seem to do anything.
Give me insight as part of it as you examine the door.
Yes, my character is smarter than I am. Fortunately, I'm not an engineer.
You hope your character's smarter than you are. When the dice rolls bad, suddenly you become a lot smarter than your character. Yeah, you can tell that the control buttons are the little sigils, the little symbols at the bottom.
Okay.
And you get the feeling that you're supposed to press at least one of them at a certain time. And if you do that, that should break the loop.
What about the half moon symbol? For continued process.
What about it?
I'd like to try tapping that one.
When do you tap it? When it's lit up or when it's not lit up?
When it's lit up.
Okay. As you press into it, everything freezes. The orb seems to be locked in place, and it's locking in place. The ritual is in the middle of being cast, and you feel the button resisting your finger. Do you like put your body weight and try to force it to stay pushed, or do you let it unsnap?
I'll let it go just to see what happens.
It snaps back with a loud clack noise as it goes back to its normal state, and then it goes through the sequence again. Like you basically paused it for a second on the waning moon, and then it just, once you let go of it, it went to broken crown, does that. Chained eye stays on that for an extra beat or two longer. Resets back to fractured star. Da, 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 da.
And if I touch it when it's not lit up?
You try to press it, and you feel it doesn't have, it doesn't depress at all.
So maybe you're supposed to press it and then press some other buttons after that while it's paused?
Good idea. I've only got 2 hands, so if you want to...
Sure.
All right. So
In this sequence, what's after the waning moon?
the broken crown.
Okay. So after she hits waning moon, I'll try to hit broken crown.
Wait for waning moon to light up. You press it in. You feel resistance. It begins flashing. What other buttons do you press? One of you you press at the golden crown one. It depresses a tiny bit, but it doesn't go in all the way.
Ah. Okay. Well, so it's not that one. Any other ideas?
It really seems to want to let go. You press any other buttons? Feeling something's gonna happen.
The other buttons.
What are the other buttons? Yeah.
A fractured star, a coiled serpent, waning moon's one you're pressing, a broken crown, a chained eye.
Guess I'll try the fractured star.
That feels like it doesn't depress at all.
Oh.
Actually, no. Sorry, I take that back. It depresses halfway down. Actually, no. It doesn't depress at all. It doesn't depress at all. Sorry. To it, the thing will violently snap and push, nearly breaking poor Zevin's finger, dealing 20 physical damage.
Ow! Oh.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
And then the sequence continues on.
Well,
Oh, Shinky.
progress.
While Lucius has been watching this, what have I determined about this sequence? How are they doing this?
Watch the VOD. No, have a second monitor that way you're always watching what's going on. But yeah, so what they are, so it basically, as the pantomime goes on, at each stage, a fractured star lights up, sequence. Coiled serpents lights up, sequence. Waning moon lights up, sequence. Broken crown lights up, sequence. And then a chained eye, sequence, and it stays there for a little bit longer, and then that's when it resets back to fractured star. What they've tried so far is pressing the waning moon symbol, which, while it's lit up, and it will stop, it will freeze, but it tries to resist being pressed. If you just let it go, it snaps back into place. If you press it and hold it, you can kind of press the other buttons, but if you stay on it too long, it just forcefully shoves itself back to normal.
Okay. So then, Lucius, looking at this, does he get the impression that it's looking for a specific combination in a specific order?
It seems one of your party members already has the answer to this question.
What was your question?
Is it looking for things in a specific order?
Probably. I can hold
Cool.
the waning moon one, but the other ones pressed so far haven't seemed to like it.
It's
So
one that it pauses on before resetting.
the eye, chained in the eye.
Have we tried pressing that one first? Or the first one in the sequence after the chained eye?
Seems like a good place to begin. Lucius will approach.
She'll cluster around the door. Perfect blast radiance.
What's the order of the glyphs again?
A fractured star, a coiled serpent, a waning moon, a broken crown, a chained eye.
Chained eye, fractured star, coiled serpent.
They seem to be identifying different stages of a ritual, as you see the ritual playing out in the pantomime at eye level.
We hit them all in order.
It was fractured star, coiled serpent, waning moon, chained eye. There was a fifth one.
A broken crown.
Which was before chained eye, second last.
Okay. Broken crown. looking up at the ceiling, do I see any of those symbols in the mural on the ceiling?
Yep. See various. They're usually depicted in gems.
Okay.
They seem to be more prevalent. They don't appear at all near the top of the dome, but they appear a lot more frequently as they get closer to the edges.
Oh, here's a question. Do any of those symbols seem to be associated with any of us in particular?
That'd be better for you guys to say, honestly. If
Okay.
one were to surmise here, I would say that you would be Broken Crown, Zevin would be Waning Moon, and Moore would be. I'm not sure, really.
Coiled serpent, the Ouroboros.
The serpent eating its own tail?
Mm.
Well, this one's coiled. Like, it's not eating its own tail. It's like, imagine a snake that's kind of coiled up on itself and its head kind of perking out.
Oh.
Yeah.
If it was Ouroboros, I would have called it out. that has a very specific meaning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
Meanings, but you know.
Okay. And what was the order that you guys tried, and it snapped at you?
We tried Waning Moon and then the Fractured Star and then Waning Moon to I don't know which the second one more hit.
I tried the one immediately after Waning Moon in the sequence, and then the one after that.
Broken Crown and then the Chained Eye.
Yeah, thank you.
Why don't we just hit them all in order?
Or, well, I was going to suggest, what if we start with Chained Eye and then work backwards?
Sure. I'll volunteer my fingers to risk fractures.
Sure.
Okay. You're gonna press a button.
I'm gonna hit the Chained Eye.
When do you hit it? When it's lit up or when it's not lit up?
When it's lit up.
You press it down, and then you hear a click. And all the lights on the door wink out. Click, 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 click. The door opens a little bit.
Oh, just a little bit?
Yeah, you could probably. It's unlocked, so you could push it or close it in this position.
Oh, okay.
Open it.
You feel a huge rush of wind and air pull into the room. And yeah, it's probably refreshing considering you've been stuck in this dungeon for a bit. So this leads
Feels
outside.
like weeks.
Feels like weeks, yes.
Yeah. Well, shall we?
Yes. We probably should.
Don't think there's anything more to do here, as much as I'd like to steal all that treasure. You sure? You think I can take one souvenir? Do you think the eye will mind?
Lucius just shoots Seven that look of, come on.
Oh, okay.
The don't you dare look.
The crystals. The image, the illusion behind you within the sphere winks away as the various shards stop showing their various memories. And then they begin to coalesce and build. And from out the sphere, many of the shards start flittering through the glass like it's a soap bubble and assemble into this massive creature.
Oh boy.
Oh, shit.
Maybe I shouldn't have hit that.
That does not look good.
Inside of its various facets, as huge coils and ripples of glass seem to flow around it, you see a semblance of a head and hands, a glow of magic about its every facet. And on the faces of those facets, you see glimpses of memories. Some your own, some from far away. And some of those that Seven has lost over the years. For not even the dead are safe. And you see what amounts to be a grand construct of Sandglass, the dream beast of the prison. Every fear that you've ever witnessed in your dreams and nightmares forms in its face. Every scary hand or claw, its hands shift in between them. And yet, for all of that glitter and sparkle, for all that horrible majesty and dark promise, it does not attack you. It looms and stares at you. All of you. And Brinius and Vivius step back and get ready to look like they're going to fight, but they don't draw because they notice that you aren't drawing. You're not fighting it necessarily, but they look like they're ready to jump. They're ready for initiative to start any second. Which is normal for them, because, whoa, new creature, what's that?
Lucius puts up his hand in a motion to them that's, not a attack motion, it's a hold.
For those who have been in the dreamscape of Radabara, now that you see it in full in the light of this chamber, you remember seeing in the dark, far across the sandglass in the distance, this shape multiplied in the hundreds. And they must have been so large to be visible as like mountains on the horizon.
Oh god, so it was like this giant shape in like the skybox.
But it was so far away, your characters really didn't register it. It's like a creepy looking thing in the distance. Look, unless it attacks me, I'm more worried about our immediate problem. But now you know what it is. It's this. Those things you were saying were dream beasts.
Yikes.
Do you understand us?
What memory do you offer to it for it to understand you?
I will, and I get that that's what it's trying to do.
It feels like it's what you're trying to do.
Okay.
It's like you're interacting with a magic item, and that's kind of what triggered when you tried to do that.
I would say I offer the memory of, the first poem that Lucius ever wrote.
Willpower's part of it.
It's important to you?
I wrote it when I was 6.
Yeah.
I welcome relinquishing the cringe. It's an 11.
You hear in your childlike voice reciting to your father with childlike glee. This poem I wrote in might and majesty, Lucius Avernus, decree that I am here. And then in the fastest, the rest of you can see that memory and playing out across its chest. And the stern look of the father, the young brother who just kind of like, I don't want to be here. I'm listening to my little brat of a brother read yet his poem. Was I ever this cringe? Oh my god. And what does the mother look like? Where she stares at you from the image.
I imagine soft smile, blonde hair, that curls down to beneath the shoulders, maybe a light peppering of freckles across the face.
Why, dear, what does that mean? Can you explain to us? She's not saying it to the child, Lucius. She's saying it to the adult Avernus in the room. She's staring out of the image at you.
Oh, freaky. Okay. It means... It means that I will stand. I will take a stand, and that I am here. And I won't forget that.
We are here. We are here. You see various images, or I am here, we are here, in various facets of various people, basically saying the same thing in a variety of situations. Though most of them seem to be, go from the childlike, yay, I'm here, to brave stances against the dark. And then across the image, you can see what it amounts to as if a whole choir is singing up into the night sky. We are here.
And you will not be forgotten.
Which is why you're talking to the freaky glass monster. Are you okay?
There it looms. The image just repeats itself over and over. The thing sways and moves in place as the bits of glass swirl and rounded. Lucius, it seems, has gone silent and stunned.
Lucius, we better move. Do something. Should I shoot it? This seems like the kind of sandglass thing you were talking about.
I will try speaking to it, since he asked if it could understand us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I think my audio just went dead for a minute.
Stop killing your computer.
I don't know what's going on. You may have missed me explaining it, but I had turned to Seven and I had said, I think it wants memories, and it wants to be remembered.
Like a toll?
Something like that, but more than that again. I think that it wants its memories, and it wants us to remember its memories.
Yeah, like, you mean like they take one?
Something like that.
One of those have a penny, leave a penny jars.
And he just sort of motions for the two to the two of you, like,
Your turn to
I did
talk
my
to the
piece.
Eldritch Beast.
like, yeah, thank you, please and thank you.
I will address the beast and ask it what, or if it'll let us pass safely.
What memory do you offer to explain this to it?
Hmm. Uh, Morv will pick the memory of her first lesson with her grandmother. In the alchemy shop.
Well, willpower's part of it.
Oh, speaking of, do I still remember my memory?
Huh? No.
No? Cool.
That's not good.
More, would you like a Fabula?
I have a Fabula.
Would you also, if I give you a Fabula, you also get some mind points.
Oh, sure. Let's do that, because I am running low on mind points.
Yep.
But yes, I will spend a Fabula to my origin, because I don't want to forget all of where I'm from.
Fair enough.
How much mind points do I gain from you?
You gain 20.
Hooray.
Not a ton, but it's...
It's better than nothing, honestly. Gets me just above half on my mind points. But 11 is decent.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Should have gone willpower, but anyway.
You witness yourself at the cauldron as various things are being mixed, and a large tome next by is open, and you're helping hand the grandmother things, because you're not allowed to put things in you. It's your first time, right? You're a little kid. You're not supposed to be putting things in. You might hurt yourself, right? But you hand it to grandmother. She puts things in, and she mixes it. And you see her ask you to go grab this other thing, and you go, yes, Grammy, and kind of race off out of frame. And then the Grammy just kind of continues mixing, waiting for you to come back, and she kind of looks up at the image and right at you more. Where are you going? Why do you need to leave? We're still learning together.
A lot of people will be hurt if we don't stop somebody who wants to do some bad things. I will say to trying to be vague but sincere to the weird dream beast, since I'm not sure if it understands concepts like sorceress.
And in the image, you see multiplied several times over across various images, your grandmother's face included, but along with various other elder scholars and some young-looking scholars. You can even see like in the facets of its various faces. You see some like adjusting their spectacles, or you see it very much. They're all like trying to say something at you, and the exact phrase I have to pull up 1 second. Wasn't sure what you were gonna say. I will say that memory does leave you. The only memory you guys would have is of this image. Like this version of the image. But you don't remember being there yourself. You just know it's a memory you gave up to the Dream Beast. So it's so by that same extension, you're kind of remembering a modification of a memory. And even then it's detached. It's an image you're seeing, not a thing you've experienced.
Also, do we see the memories that are being offered up?
Yep.
Oh, okay, so Lucius just ain't talking to nothing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. You guys got to see his cringe poem. 7. This is going in my cringe compilation. The camera on the drone snaps.
And in the various faces, including your grandmother's face, across the various facets, say unto you, I lit a fire where none could see, to warm a child who clung to me. A single spark, a breath, a name, a whisper, that we live again. And for a brief moment, you have memories of a person not yourself. In a land much like Coriastellum, suffering very different problems than the ones you face now. Yet it is a very similar threat. As you see your own face, but not your own face, looking up at you.
Should I try my hand at this, or?
Lucius nods.
7 steps up to the strange glass creature, which she has never seen before in her entire life. And she is going to offer a memory.
What are you trying to communicate to it with your memory?
That we I'm gonna kind of make a parallel to communicate that we know that the crown is missing. We're working on it.
Okay, what memory do you give up to communicate that?
Which is 7 sitting with that robot doppelganger that we recovered. And she's trying to fix it, but she doesn't have the parts and she needs more time. And this frustration that like this is it's hard and I'm tired, but it needs to be done.
Willpower is part of it.
Willpower is part of it. Willpower is also my worst stat, so we'll see. 8.
8. If you want, I can give you.
I have a
I get-
Fabula.
Yeah, if you want to spend it.
Is 8 not enough, you think?
I don't know. I get the impression that 10 is probably the number you want.
Mind if I spend a Fabula to the identity of mechanic that I've had to try to fix things that seem complicated and frustrating before?
Yeah, I'll take that from you.
Yoink. And I'll roll again. I forgot I was like, now that I've given up, what do I need to do next? So yes, I need to roll 14.
Hey!
So you see yourself working on your doppelganger lookalike. It's a project you've yet to really, truthfully work on in earnest. You've very lightly been working at it from time to time, so this is probably one of many memories of you looking to your doppelganger. You're working away. You see your own back as you're grabbing at stuff and dronies beeping and booping at you. And then you see the robot head doppelganger turn and look straight on at you in the real world.
Uh-huh. I'm Can you understand me?
Explain directive. Shush, I don't even know what you are. Give me a second. Just, no, don't. You see yourself trying to get... You remember that happened once where it turned its head and said, say directive? And that's like a generic thing robots do, or automata will do. They'll ask for programming, but you're not ready to turn it back on at the time. So you're like, oh, please stop doing that. Please don't turn on. I don't know what you'll do if you turn on properly. But in the image, it's talking to you rather than up at you. It's not just talking up at you on the bench, it's talking to you in the real world.
Well, I didn't go into all this expecting to be a hero, but I guess we're here to be heroes and save the world from collapse, and there's this person who wants to end everything, and everything's gotten really complicated, hasn't it? And she looks to her two friends.
You see a sea of automata and constructions that you've seen across your life, and some from ages long past, and some that have yet to come. And like a choir of machinery and gears turning and electricity buzzing, they say something unto you. I would have to look up what they say. Ah, there it is. When the last hero stands and shadows fall, they'll find the power to conquer all. In unity lies the realm's salvation, hope beyond devastation.
Okay. All right.
And with that, it shatters, into millions of tiny shards and rains upon the three of you. And all three of you immediately go to crisis if you weren't already.
Oh,
Ow.
cool.
If you're already in crisis, you're fine. It just really hurts. And to 7, you become aware. Actually, I'll get to you last. Yours has a particular hit. Lucius, you have memories of a far-off place in a far-off land, on a ship of stars, going from one countless realm to another, crossing the astral sea, if you will. And from a pane of glass, you see your own reflection. A young, almost too young, red-haired man with freckles on his face looks deeply concerned about something. He walks away from his reflection across some sort of office space. A voice calls to him to attend to command. He steps out of his office, the door sliding away from him with autonomic magic. And there, as various people in colorful uniforms at various Magitech controls, various peoples from countless realms that are very familiar to you in the moment, but are not familiar to Lucius at all. There's humans. You recognize those. There's an elf-looking person over there. But some of them are just...
Yeah.
You have no idea what you're looking at, but you know... The person in the memory knows. And they stare out at this massive pane of glass that dominates an entire wall. And they stare upon a massive orb of crystal, glittering with red and black.
Oh.
A planet that Lucius knows as Sandglass of Radabara. The man in the memory knows as Cowcat.
Oh my god.
More Duncan.
Davinian, you can't do this to me.
Or Duncan. You are viewing a land bereft of life. Every grass, every green wilted away. A black rain having stained every surface, every building. There's a valley that once was alive, but now coated in death, and worst of all, to be forgotten. A massive lake, marshed over and crawling with monsters that in the dream space they do not want to consider. Though Moore is pretty certain she knows what they are. There are beasts in the Darklands, or even in Tirgan Sigith. There's marsh monsters and will-o-wisps and stuff. They're less scary to Moore, but they're far more scary to the person in the memory. Though they do their best to soldier through it. They have a job to do. They have a mission to do. A high calling. And into the sky, they can see huge pillars of green light piercing into a sky with a false sun. You're staring upon a world that is at threat to be forgotten. And though the sky in the dreamscape did not have the pillars of green light, that darkness, that blanket of forgetfulness, you remember seeing it in the dreamscape. And you know that its cause is by forbidden ritual and magic that must not be allowed to be cast, or else all the world is doomed. and to Zevin.
Uh-huh.
Radabara, long ago, was, in your memory, a place that stretched across the countless realms. A sea of sandglass, a massive network of magic and power, where miracles could be made on a whim. It was a paradise and a utopia. Until the wings of Radabara, the grand cities, fell one by one. And the greatest spire the world had ever known was devastated and shattered. And when it exploded, it is as if the entire world, the entire sky was set on fire. Radabara became no more. It was the Sand Elves who, although they did not forge the Radabaran Empire, they were the ones who watched on distance this grand civilization tumble. And you know, as your ancestor knew long ago, that the shattering of the spire only bought you time. The end is still coming, and it took an empire to slow it down.
Oh.
Oh.
The sphere is now empty of sandglass. No images or illusions remain. Whatever the dream beast was, is no more. For what it guarded, it has left to you.
The greatest burden of all. Knowledge. Seven just has her hands on either side of her head.
Are you okay?
Oh.
That was weird.
Did you guys see something, or?
Yes.
I saw a lot of things.
I was on a ship among the astral sea. But I was not me. I beheld a world of sand glass. It was magical. But I get the feeling somewhere deep down that it was merely a glimpse into a story that was not my own.
Oh, it very much was yours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You each may add to your identity Dreamer. You have seen dreams far and wide, which has given you a deep revelation as to what threat you're facing.
The dreaming conspicuous last pilgrim. Man, this identity's getting long.
And I'll highlight to you there, Lucius, that you're aware of what the colors of those crystals were and what they truly were. You know what your dream self knew. Though, have fun having Lucius explain that in his current form.
In a way that doesn't sound crazy.
Uh-huh.
More, did you see anything?
I saw a barren world going to ruin and infested by monsters
Cool.
and being forgotten.
So I saw the end of the Empire.
You did.
Yep. And the catastrophe that ended them, it didn't end with them. They just bought us time.
They bought us time.
They just delayed it.
So you mean their entire empire, all that power, crumbled to waste
And they couldn't even
just
stop it.
just to push back the end?
I think so.
Well, we'll have much to think about.
Hmm.
We should see what lies beyond.
To find Aether and go on and see if they head back to the train.
Lucius nods.
Everyone just has that dazed look to them.
Yeah.
As you begin to leave, more Duncan, a phrase ghosts to memory.
Hmm. Hope still lingers. It never dies.
That it does.
Lucius, give me insight as part of it as you begin to leave this space.
Say open roll?
No, closed.
Close. Cool. It doesn't matter.
You recognize that phrase is one that's said by the priests of the flame. It's like a motto.
Where did you pick that up?
And, Zevin, give me insight as part of it. You've heard that phrase as well, you're just not sure from where. You remember someone saying it to you once.
Lady
Yeah.
Duncan, where did you pick that up from?
I don't know. It just occurred to me. I think it was given to me by the memory beast, perhaps.
I get the feeling Lucius looks up at the ceiling.
The ceiling is now clear. It is like looking at an
Okay.
open sky. Not a bird nor tower left.
Yep. I get the feeling that those that came before, the Rodabarans, were expecting us. And that they may have been able to see things that would come after their fall, and they may have set wheels in motion, ready for us to I suppose, trip over.
Yeah. Do you think they expected us, or? And she kind of points up to what the mural used to be, a different version of us.
I don't know.
Mm. Scary thought.
Do the three of you leave this place?
Mhm.
Tis a silly place.
Yeah, it is a silly place. Well, there's this vault. Yeah.
And thus, they leave the Wing of Jewels. For all of you watching out there, thank you very much for watching. For those of you playing, thank you very much for playing. And we look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye.
The knowing laugh.
God.
Do you enjoy tormenting us, Corby?
What? Never.
Ah. God.
Well, I mean, you know,
Oh boy.
I'm just giving you tips. I'm just giving you hints that might help you. That's all. I'm just being,
Mm. God. Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Yeah, how much of that do you remember after all this time?
God. Yeah. Oranon Moore. That's my Star Trek Adventures character.
It's all connected.
That was Captain Harmon Grennan.
You just gotta like pull up the conspiracy board and the